Clickbait. It is a term that you hear a lot in social media when it comes to video thumbnails or titles that are considered either clickbaity or just done to hook in views. Is that really a negative thing though? That is what I here at Cynical Apex Commentaries wish to actually sit down and discuss with you today. And my thoughts on clickbait actually not being as bad or as much an issue as people believe it to be. Rather, it actually is a very effective marketing and promotional strategy that creators and influencers on YouTube use to actually bring eyes upon their product and get people to come in and watch or listen or view what it is that they are desiring for them to. After all, this is actually something that is not exclusive to social media. Let's look at just the general media to begin with, and how advertisements can easily be seen as clickbaity due to the notion that they wish to bring you in and get you to buy or watch their product, depending on whether or not it is a business advertisement or whether or not it is an advertisement from the television station themselves promoting a new show or series that is going to be airing on their channel. It's that simple, really. And in fact, that is basic logic, just as it is with movie companies and posters, as well as trailers. We all know the aim of the trailer is to showcase specific points of the movie that are going to bring in eyes and ears and are going to make you think, oh, this is something that really interests me. Even if the rest of the movie ends up just being banal or vanilla, or as some people like to call it, plain old noodle soup. And that's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with trying to get eyes and ears onto your product. And as I described in my first video, that is actually the ultimate endgame of what people want to do, no matter what you are in. No matter whether or not you are in the social media landscape, whether or not you are in the general media landscape, the endgame is the same. You want eyes and ears to be upon you and the product that you are giving out more so than anything else. And that is, again, something that we should be praising and we should not be looking at negatively. Now, sure, there is actually some issue with clickbaiting. However, it is not with the process of clickbaiting itself. Rather, the issue comes in when the titles and thumbnails are generally misleading in that they will force you into thinking it's about one thing when the premise is actually about something different and barely, if at all, mentions what is in the title. Now, the clickbait I was initially talking about is over-dramatization, which has also been dragged into the same sort of magnitude or gravity as the misleading or flat out lying clickbait, which is like, oh my god, I almost died, and then you just do a blog about something that was unrelated to an instance of almost dying, yet you wanted to bring people in. Or even if you want to use the extreme game situation from last year, where they pretended they were dying, well, I won't say pretended because I don't have the full facts, but they definitely elevated their conditions to the point where they wanted to lure people in and try to get the sympathy vote, when it ended up being nothing of the sorts, where they just ended up having general illnesses. That is deception. That is actually lying, and not just your general term of clickbait, which again, clickbait can be connected to advertisements or promotional tools that are used in marketing, and it's effective. I mean, after all, if you fall for it, then that's on you. That's not on the creator, and that's not on anyone else but yourself, because what they did proved to be effective by the fact that they got you to click, which is, as I said, their end game. They want your clicks. They want your views. And then again, if you don't click on it or you don't even see it, then how are you going to know something is actually clickbait? You can't, it's sort of a catch-22 situation. If you watch it, then it works. But if you didn't watch it, then how do you know it's clickbait? So you really don't. So I think that judgment in itself can actually be seen as a lie, and usually is a lie, because if you look at those who say, oh, it's clickbaity, oh, they actually don't necessarily watch the content, or they have a mistaken viewpoint, or rather a blurred viewpoint due to the whole connotation, as I spoke about, that clickbait had been used in, and believe the initial thought that it is indeed a negative term, when that is not actually the case in like 95% of the situations. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, is it just because you're trying to clickbait yourself? No. Look, honestly, I'm not somebody who tries to do that. Not because I don't want views or attention, but that's just not my thing. I would rather just put out the topic of discussion and give you guys a viewpoint whilst also trying to catch the eye. But I'm just saying this in more of a point that I don't have as much an issue with clickbaiting as much as I do when someone just flats out lies and says, oh my god, look at this, he just got beaten up. And the topic is nothing about that. It's just about something that is completely irrelevant. Like, it doesn't even matter. And the title was literally done to try to generate a certain reaction when your content doesn't quite hold up to water. And now that's what I think the issue is when people say clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. It's more so with the content quality itself not being up to what the marketing or the promotional techniques used in order to rope you in actually made you believe that it would be. We see the same with television, we see the same with movies. Hence why the movie itself, as I said, will always use the most entertaining or exciting portions of the movie to try to disguise it and make sure that they get your view, to make sure that they bring you in and that they really make, no matter what, they've got your money. They don't really care about the opinion afterwards. Unless, of course, you are like a movie critic and that, but that's a different video topic, and that is something we'll go into more in depth a little bit later. However, for the general citizen, the movie companies still have your money at the end of the day, and they manage to rope you in with their promotional technique. So what else do they have to really gain or lose from you? Sure, you lost your time, but hey, it is what it is to them, and ultimately, you made the choice to buy in. You made the choice to believe what they were selling. So of course, they are going to benefit from that, whereas you can see it as deception if you wish. However, it's not. It is just a marketing strategy and a marketing ploy that we have seen throughout the generations, time and time again. After all, as I said, the aim of the game is to get eyes and ears and immersion within a certain product that is being offered. And you can't deny that is exactly what they have done here with their marketing and their promotional techniques. Therefore, to them, it has worked. It has been a success. And hey, as I said in my last video, any publicity to them is good publicity. So, heck, even if it is clickbaity, even if it's, I mean clickbaiting as in the sense of being attentive, just bright colors, all style, all sizzle, sort of smoke and mirrors if you wish to call it that. If it brings in the views and it works, people are always going to turn to that. People are always going to use that to their advantage. And it is something that no matter what you might think, no matter what people might think about it, if it gives them the attention, If it gives them the views and the money and the clout and the fame, they are obviously not going to stop doing that technique, no matter the criticism or the critique or the perceptions that people have of them. We've seen that time and time again as well. Popularity breeds a culture where people will stick to what works. If people will make sure that the next thing they do is there to retain their audience. Now, it does get to the extent of lying, as I mentioned earlier, because again, clickbaiting can lead into lying, which is the issue. That is the problem. If they are flat out lying, then of course they deserve to be called out for it. And that is, in fact, deceptive and misleading content that can easily be seen as against the law or even illegal if you try to do things on the premise of one thing, however your actual premise is another. Then yes, you have effectively deceived, you have lied to the people. But let's not connotate all clickbait with that sort of deception and lying, please. Otherwise, it just makes you out to be salty that they managed to actually succeed on you and rope you in. Anyway, this has been Cynical Apex Commentaries, signing out. I'll see you all